Hey folks, welcome back to the Feroz Moto channel. Today we're gonna have a fun conversation about if I think M cars are worth it when it comes to the realm of actual sports cars. And I think with how modern cars are coming along with just their proficiency, their pretty much performance per dollar ratio of everything, I think M cars have really solidified themselves in the market with how well they're selling. I think the G87 M2 is a starstruck example of how much car you can get for the money when it comes to a sporty do-it-all car. Now, one thing to kind of consider and understand a lot with how M cars are, with their marketing and everything. I know back in the day when it came to actual history of M3s and BMW, their motorsport division with the original M3, these cars were pretty much just homologated race cars that they had to sell to allow them to compete in their racing series. And now with how cars have kind of definitely changed and extrapolated and moved on and on and on from what the original image is, I think they have definitely deviated and changed, but for the average consumer, I think it's come to our benefit. And then when you see that in examples like these cars, you kind of understand where they're coming from. So I think there's a fundamental difference between what people are expecting these cars to be and what they actually are. It comes down to it, as much as these cars can perform really well and does all it does, it's really not a dedicated sports car platform. And I mean, I guess the M3 is a bad example, even though it used to be a great example, but the M4 being a coupe and M2 being a coupe are way more, I guess, dedicated ideas. But still, when it comes down to the suspension geometry and everything, being McPherson strut, multi-link in the rear, when cars kind of go down to a true motorsport level, you kind of want double wishbone when it comes to cars. There's just less of a sacrifice when it comes to performance in the alignment game and just how the kinematics of a car like to function. That being said, we have ways to compensate for that to make it work, but in most ways it's still a compromise. So when it comes down to other cars in the segment that just do a better job at performing in a sports car way, giving more feel, giving more things, when people are saying how these cars are a bit more numb and subdued, I don't think the average driver kind of understands or really wants to understand what they're talking about when it comes to that, because they hop into these things, you get the first experience drive. They just made it so easy to extract performance out of these cars. So that being said, what do I think about trying all other cars and hopping back into this thing? I've said this a bunch of times now. I do think that BMW did a great job in meshing and making this platform do what it does so well, but there's a caveat. I mean, it's always like the saying, you could be a jack of all trades and master of none, and I think in some ways they've gone very close in that bar of mastering of none, but there isn't a lot of heart and soul and character when it comes to a kind of raw and visceral subdued experience. And I don't blame that as a zonk. It's just a different way of how this car has been engineered and kind of refined to its point of execution. I mean, they built this to be a very comfortable, fast sports saloon that you can take every day to work, take your kids or family to school, and then hit the racetrack and do that. And the majority of the time, you're just driving on the street. It makes sense to have a car that is not super raw. You know, this car has a bunch of sound deadening, a bunch of refinement, a bunch of things that make it a comfortable and, yeah, just comfortable, cruisy, plushy ride. But when you need to switch a couple notches, you have the ability to do that and do so, and that gives you the ability to do what it does. So when you have a sports car like a Lotus or something else, there is pretty much as much less compromise on the opposite of that to just do its one sole job of driving. And there's not a lot of cars out there that do that these days, that are fresh with factory warranties and do that. So some options are, of course, the GR86 twins. I mean, everything's built to a budget, of course, but when it comes down to where the money was spent fundamentally is for that driving experience. Now, I don't recall the steering feel being amazing on those cars, but everything else wise, for the chassis, for the motor, for it being a 6-speed, still offering that, just being able to go out there and wring the neck out of that car and have a really fun and alive feeling, which is how light and nimble it is. You really can't take that for granted. And even that car, as much as it is a do-it-all platform, is still somewhat compromised, I think, for a sports car situation, that it has McPherson strut in the front and multi-link in the rear, just like this car. And I know it, like I said, you can make those cars with those suspensions feel great, but when it comes down to it and you want an actual full-out race car, most of them are double wishbone. Porsche 911 GT3, double wishbone. S2000, double wishbone. Miatas, even though this might be a little controversial, people don't think they're sports cars, double wishbone. A lot of Corvettes, double wishbone. It just comes down to those cars that are also, dominating and destroying those types of things. Even older Hondas, double wishbone. So it's just the right way of doing it. I mean, like I said, in our mind, we can make up whatever we want. In the marketing, we make up whatever we want. But when you see a car and how it's built on and the decisions they make to go to it, gives me a lot of respect for those dedicated platforms. And that's why, as much as I love this car, that's why I want something else that is different, being suspension geometry itself as well, and just its kind of platform, its mantra, its ethos, its idea and design. I want a true dedicated sports car, and I think the cheapest way to get into one with the money and everything has to be the Miata. I mean, even the older ones are double wishbone around. The fronts now are double wishbone multi-link rear, which is pretty ideal. The multi-link in the back helps with a lot of the kinematic toe change, being how you kind of turn in, it gives you some of that toe out to help you tuck in, and then once you start pushing in on the body roll, it actually tucks it back in. And I know the NCs were big on that, so it helped the car feel very nimble but also stable in a turn. And with the NDs, they I think they flipped on its head and made it way more you know, neutral and tight to help you be very safe and controlled during turns. Some people don't like that weird, I guess, deflection and instability when it comes down to it. So all different types of things, the nitty gritty. I mean, I find the engineering so fascinating. I still barely know much of it at all, but when it comes down to understanding why cars drive the way they do and why they feel special, a lot of it comes down to how they're just pretty much set up with the engineering. There's so much science, so much math, so much testing and tuning and toggling to get it where they need it to be, and some cars just don't give that out. So that's me pretty much just soapboxing, saying how M cars aren't that special. They are special for the ability to do everything that they do, but I think in terms of people compare these to actual dedicated sports cars, they have their place for being that special sauce, because they're spending that money, that time, that R&D, that engineering with the proper ways of functioning at a price point to make it all work in a way that is actually motorsport derivative. So that's just my 2 cents on the topic. If it's just me rambling, I would love to talk to you guys down below in the comment section. This is to my knowledge what I know, but that being said, let's talk about it. I think it's really fun and cool thing. I love all different types of cars. I mean, hey, if I didn't love these, I wouldn't buy multiple M cars. Had an M2 and now this M3. For what this does for me in my use case, that's great. But now that I have the option to get another vehicle, that's why I want something way more down to the bone, built up on a platform to do one thing and only, and that is to drive nice, fast, and give you a sense of feel and enjoyment. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Feroz Moto out.